It is always nice to catch up with Dr. Billy Taylor, once known as Touchdown Billy Taylor for you Michigan Wolverine fans. And I'm really excited to share with the folks that your documentary is about to debut on the Big Ten Network on Monday, September 30th. Tell me about it.
I'm really pumped up. Yeah, we're going live nationally, Big Ten Network. I'm just excited that the story is getting out there, and it's really helping a lot of people. You know, we're doing a lot of work in the city of Detroit. We at Get Back Up, and now my movie, and it wasn't easy to do because I went through a lot, you know, and it's not always easy to share those things, but it ends well, and people are really getting a lot from the movie, young and old alike.
I had a chance to see it last fall when the movie first came out, and Dr. Taylor really did just sum it up pretty well in a couple of words. Yes, if you're a Michigan football fan, you're going to see some Michigan highlights, and you'll be able to relive the glory days. But you're also going to relive some of the down days. And the down days, I think, are really what have defined your life, because from there, you became what you are today, a man who not only has recovered, but is so dedicated to helping other men. And that's what you are, and that's what you've become.
That's what we do in Detroit. As you know, I'm president and founder, CEO of Get Back Up Incorporated. Unfortunately, we've been fighting the city of Detroit for 6 years to remain open, but we've helped hundreds of men, and we're doing a great job there, me and my staff, and a lot of it is from my past. You know, I went through homelessness, drug addiction, incarceration, and I could have easily have given up, but my Michigan experience, you know, we that play for Bo Schembechler, we feel we can do just about anything realistically. Grow wings and fly, maybe not, but you know, get back up from drug addiction, get a doctorate degree, absolutely.
You know, I remember last year when you were having the private screenings, there was a little bit of nervousness because you didn't know, are people going to come? What are they going to think about it? What are they going to say about it? I haven't talked to you really much since that night. What was the reaction when you had the private screenings?
It was amazing. The movie first premiered November 16th of last year in Ann Arbor at the Michigan Theater. And I had so much anxiety the night before. I'm like, what if nobody shows up?
I can't imagine. That must be very nerve-wracking.
But fortunately, you know, I turned the corner and there were lights flashing and my name was on the marquee. There was a red carpet. Over 700 people came out. And I was just overwhelmed and humbled by that.
Well, when you see the programming that's on the Big Ten Network, it makes sense that something like this is on there, because the story is one of humanity. The story is one of a guy who did great things on the football field and has done great things with his life since. And while I have you here, I want to ask you to share a couple of stories from the good old days. I mean, people still revere the Michigan brand, the Michigan teams of the past, and most notably the head coach, who you say lives with you every day.
Yeah, I think of Bo all the time. You know, I could be here all night with you, which I wouldn't mind sharing some Bo stories. I can't really think of a short one other than I remember his first year. We were at spring practice, and it was about in the upper 80s, maybe 90 degrees, you know, and he raised his hand, old sun god, you know, shine down on us. So he felt if it got hotter, warmer, we'd sweat more, we'd get in shape, you know, and but he's just an amazing man. I think about him every day. His spirit is with me.
When you watch football now, college football notably,
yes,
what do you see as the biggest difference from back in the day when you were playing?
Well, you know, they have the spread offense. You know, we did something similar back in my day. But, you know, I'm finding that it's still football is football. It's blocking, it's tackling. And you notice those teams that block well, those teams that tackle well, they tend to win championships. So, you know, no matter what they're doing out there today, you can't get around that. You know, you can change things up and give a lot of different looks, whatnot, but that's what it really comes down to. You know, if you're missing tackles and missing blocks, and making mistakes, you know, mental and otherwise, you're going to lose football games. And if you're playing great defense, you're going to win championships.
One of the things I like, but I like to ask former players what they think, is how Michigan has brought these numbers back into circulation. And you see Devin Gardner running around with 98. And you see Jake Ryan so eagerly awaiting to get back on the field wearing number 47.
Yeah.
And these are numbers that had previously been retired or not used, like Desmond Howard's 21. And now it's back on the field. What do you think as a guy who appreciates the tradition of Michigan to see these numbers back out on the field?
I think that's great, you know, because we all stand on someone's shoulders. You know, the guys that are playing today, you know, many people know that myself and many others before me and after me have laid the groundwork for their successes today and helping making Michigan, you know, what it is. And a person like Tom Harmon, I did break his rushing record. I was fortunate enough to meet him out in California during one of our Rose Bowl stays. His son, Mark Harmon, was on the Southern Cal team. And so we met, and that was years ago. I haven't seen him personally since then, but you know, I think it's great not to forget whose shoulders you're standing on.
I thought one of the most powerful moments, and it was really told well in the documentary, was when they captured your reception at Michigan Stadium. And you see those every week.
Right.
You know, they bring out players from the past, and they get a great big hand during one of the breaks at Michigan Stadium. But for you, it was different. For you, it really seemed to complete the circle. And walk me through that moment and how that moment is described in the documentary.
It was awesome. It had been 40 years since my name had been called over to Michigan Stadium with a packed house. And one of the more emotional parts was my son, Will III, was with me. And when I ran out on the field and they called my name and they showed the clip from the touchdown Billy Taylor, and he was jumping all over my back, Tom, you know, and going back to my past, you know, if I had not recovered, if I didn't have help, if there weren't facilities like Get Back Up to help people that have strayed get back on track, I wouldn't have that type of relationship with my children that I do, you know. And it was great, just the camaraderie and the memories, being welcomed back after a terrible fall, you know. And it took years to get back to Michigan and to be received once again. I'll never forget it.
Well, they did a great job paying tribute to you that day.
Right.
And I think the Big Ten Network is going to do a great service to you by letting your story be told across their network. And again, it will debut on the Big Ten Network. It's Perseverance, the story of Dr. Billy Taylor, and you can see it Monday night, September 30th at 9:30. All the best to you.
And I'd like to say to people of Detroit, please pray with us
Yeah,
so
it's going
we
through
can
a lot right
remain
now.
open and get back up. We're helping people and changing lives.